Hey YouTubers, Zabernack here. We're off on our first episode of Doragon Mountain. Alright, so here we start off with trying to figure out what I'm going to put in the front of the park. And at first I thought of doing a sign, something like that introduces the park, but then I thought, well, perhaps let's try making a ticket booth, or not a ticket booth, sorry, an information kiosk, because most parks normally have that at the start of the park. So I kind of experimented around with some designs here, and I was thinking of doing stucco, as you saw, but then I kind of thought, well, the park entrance is white, so let's make this match, because everything else in the park is going to be generally themed. So as a general park structure, I thought white would just be fine. But as you can see here, I'm just kind of designing the basic structure of the building, playing around with some ideas for roofs to make it look a little bit more interesting. And as I was playing around, I kind of thought to myself, I wanted a structure that would stand out. At the same time, it would be pretty, how to say, you wouldn't notice it as much compared to the rest of the park's theming. So I went with a generally squarish design, nothing too big. But here you can see that I'm just playing around finding a sign to actually put up on the top of this thing. Because once we have it in the game, I'd love to have information written across the top there. As you can see, I was trying to do that here with the wood, but it didn't work out too well. It would just stick through the other side. So here we've got me putting up some shelters for some of the information that could be displayed on the front. And I was just kind of toying around with how I could really do that. Obviously, since we don't have anything in the game yet, I just put up some generalized Planet Coaster signs there until we do have like information like park maps or whatever it is. So this is when I'm pretty sure I start adding all the lights and all that kind of stuff on, just to give it a nice night feel, and I fast forward it there so I can see. But obviously lighting to light up the Planet Coaster logo where it would normally say information, but I was working with what I had. So I put lights on the sides of the information kiosk, which is technically a hat stall. Just putting lights there so that at night or dusk when the park is still running but just about being closed, people can still see and get merchandise after. So here I am trying to position this stupid thing in the center, and it actually fits quite well. The only problem is that there wasn't actually enough space for both sides of this building to have paths to them, to each one of the kiosks, so only one side actually has it. That's something I might go back to later and fix. I'm not quite sure. Here you can see I'm just trying to bugger around with it because the thing is too close. But overall, I think it looked pretty good, just how well it fit in that little space. And then again, just finishing off with some floral details, and here's my stab at doing custom path work, I guess you could say, with flagstones, and just depressing some of those stones into the ground, just to give that desired look. And this actually didn't take me too long to do, maybe a few minutes at the most, just trying to fit it all together. So not exactly something I'd want to do for a full-on path, so to speak, but it's definitely something for a spot like this that's pretty easy to implement. So we would move on over here to this empty little space, and I kind of had the idea of making it almost like a park map area once we get that stuff, if we get that stuff. But for now, I just placed some signs in there just for generally aesthetics. Blech, can't speak. So I did that, and then as you can see, I'm actually using props that I've created. And I've actually found a really easy way to do that is actually through attaching them to posts, and you can just sink them right into the ground if you do it right. I've got benches, a garbage can, and I believe also those lights over there. And yeah, they're really easy to use actually. Really convenient, especially for putting stuff along paths. Um, and that's one thing I really wanted to make easy for myself in this park is just being able to copy and paste a lot of these kind of smaller elements. And that's why I built them onto a building, which the post pretty much does, and then you can just copy and paste and move it like so. Just like with these seats here. Which actually turned out really good. I'm really happy with those. Same with the garbage cans that I just placed there. They're simply just those like circular brick windows, and then I've just placed them around a pole. Now here is where I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with this park and make kind of, as Sivret says, the weenie of the park. And I played around with the idea for a bit, but I couldn't really come up with anything. So in the next video, you'll actually see a starting structure of what I've got going on for it. But anyways, I'm just about out of time here, so I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Zabernack out.